Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is part 2 of our URL Shortener project, and as I have promised in my last video that we will be coming up with a pagination response for all our URLs. So basically if I show you in the project, if I go to the dashboard, right, so I have a list of URLs like what I have shortened, but I don't want to get all my response, like I don't want to do get all. For example, there are thousands of URL, so it is not quite performant, right, to fetch all the 1000. So what we can do, right, we can start to implement something called as pagination, and we can only load that much record which is really required on the page. Like for example, I have this page index as 1, and in this page index I want to just list down the 10 URL, right? So that I can do with the help of pagination here. Suppose if I want to go on page 2, then I will do another API call, and that will fetch me the rest of the response. Okay, so this is what I want to do in this video. And not just that, we will also take a look at how can we implement a search here. So this is basically search where we can just type in the URL. For example, if I search for SAS, so can you see I'm getting all the list of URLs who has this particular keyword, right? So this is what is the agenda of this today's video, and we are going to implement the API side of the project. So we are still not touching the front end, but we will take a look at how we can basically create a paged URL API endpoint. Whenever that is called, it will return a response something like this. Maybe I can show you the response now. So let me just get rid of this, and if I inspect element, and if I go in the network, right, so if I click on page 2, so can you see a API call happens, and here we are passing the page index and the page size. And if you see the response what we get, right, we are getting a data where we have the response which we need to display on the UI, and then we have some bunch of properties like for example the total pages, the total count, the page size, page index. If it has a previous page, this is true, or if it has a next page, which is false. And we are going to use all of this property here so that we can make this disabled and enable and all of those, right? So if you're excited to start with this one, so let's get started now. But before that, make sure you have seen my first part so that this thing can really make sense to you. So now let's first start with the understanding that where exactly we need that API endpoint and in which module we need to write the code. So if you go inside the module, so I think this shorter module suits better where we need to create the paged URL. So if you see, we already have a app.map.get, so we need to create something similar, but this one will look something like this. So here we have URL, so we can change it to paged URL, okay, something like this. And which means we need to create a service which will help me to do that. Okay, so let me just go ahead and go to this particular repository, so which will look something like this. Okay, so here we need to have a page result. So let me go ahead and create this particular class here, and this class is going to be a generic type. So you can see we have this paged result where we have a page index, page size, total count, and here we have a calculation of the total pages. If you see, we are making use of math.ceiling, and here we just make sure that we have the total count divided by the page size. Okay, and this is what the property I was referring to, that we will be having two more property, which is has previous page. Basically we are checking if your page index is greater than 1, which means yes, there is a previous page. And if we want to check if it has a next page, then we have to make sure that your page index should be less than the total pages, okay, which you calculate here on the top. And in the last, we will have the data which is of type generic T, right? So for example, in future, if we have some other URLs, or like if we need to fetch some other response which should have a paged, so that we can make use of this generic type. Okay, but for us it's just the URL, right? So if you want, you can just make it a type like a URL, okay, like what we have here, right? You can do that, but it's up to you. I'm just trying to teach you so that you can also know a bit about how we can create a generic page result. Okay, so now I have a repository method ready. So I have basically a interface contract here, and now we need to implement this. So let's go inside your URL repository, and here you need to just click this and implement the missing member in the bottom. Okay, so first of all, what I will do here, I'll try to get the query first. So where I can say where, because I have to prepare the DB query, right? So yeah, this is AI is helping me, so that this is what I wanted to do. I want to first do that context.url, and I want to make this as queryable, right? And then in the next line, I will need to check for the total record, right? So we can check about the total, items, and we can just make sure that query.count async. So this will help me to give the total count. And then for the pagination, what you need to do, you can just say that where items is equal to your await, and then we can use the same query dot order by. So first what we will do, we'll try to make the list descending based on the created date. So this is what we will do. We will try to make this query as descending. So we can say q dot created at, right? And then this is the magic happens. So here we need to do two things. So first thing we have to skip, and the second thing we have to do something called as take. And then after getting these two things, we just need to make sure that we are sending them as a to-list async. That's all. Okay. So the main logic of pagination relies into these two things, right? Skip and take. So whenever you're on the page first, right? So what you will do for example, suppose I am on page index 1. Okay, so this is what AI is helping me. So I will have a page index. Cool. So for example, 1 minus 1 is 0, and 0 into 10 is 0. So it will skip nothing. And this is guy going to take the page size. So it will say, hey, go ahead and take the first 10. Okay. If your user clicks on page number 2, then the page index become 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. And 1 into 10 is 10. So this is going to skip the first 10, and it will take the page size, which is your 10. So it will take the next 10. Okay. In the same way, if it is 3, then it will skip the 20, and then it will take the from the 20 after the 20, which is 21 to 30, something like that. So this is where the logic of pagination basically relies. And if you know this, then you know already what is pagination and how to implement pagination in .NET, or even if it is Node.js or any other backend. Okay. So now once you have this, so what you need to do, you just have to say return. You have a new paged URL, right? Paged result URL, and inside that, right, you just need to send your response. So what we can say, we can send the page index, we can send the page size, we can add a total count. I think this was total count, and this is going to be your data. Okay. So if you want, you can change it to data, but yeah, it really depends. Okay. So that things can look how we really need. Okay. So once this is done, so I can say that now this guy will start to work and send you the paginated response, right? So let me save the changes, and what I need to do, I have to go inside your service and do the implementation for it. Okay. Now in the service, I'm going to create another method, which is public async. This is going to be a task, and this is a paged result. Okay. So page result, and I can put the generic type again, which is going to be a URL at the moment. Okay. Wow, AI is there to help me, which is good. And then if I do something like this, right, and this is what I wanted to do, something like this, and if I save the changes, and now this service I can call where, over here. So now whenever someone is calling me, I can pass it some data from here. So now what this will do, this will go and call get paged URL async. Okay. And I need some data here, right? I need page index, page size, and this search term. I'll talk about this in the later part. Okay. So I need these three things, right? So how I can get that? I can get them basically from this particular query. So there is something called as from query, right? And the first query is nothing but going to be your int, which is your page index. Okay. Your second query is going to be nothing but your int page size, and the last query is going to be your string, which is going to be a nullable, and search term. Okay. And let's save the changes. Okay, I did some mistake here, so let me fix that, and let me get rid of this, and let me just align them something like this, so that the things are quite clear. So this is what I wanted to do now. So now I have page index, which is coming from the query, page size, search term, and we already had the URL server. We don't need this here. Okay. And now this thing you can pass it over here. So I can get the page index, page size, and the search term. Okay. Let's save the changes, and now what we can do, we can just run this, and let's see what we get as the API, right? So let's see we can basically go and get this particular API. So I'm going to open that in Swagger. So first of all, let me just go on the top and open this, and here we just need to search for Swagger because we have already implemented this. So now we have this page URL, and now you can see you are able to get this page index. So I can say that I want page number 1, the page size should be 5, and search term is just empty. You can keep it empty, and if I execute, right, so once I execute it, can you see now I'm getting these two response which I already got in my last video, right? I have added these two query, right? So now I can see that I only have 2 data, but I was trying to get total 5 records in my first page. So this is what I'm getting. But can you see there is one issue here, that here we have a URL code, but here we need a short URL. If you see the particular this, so can you see I need this short URL, which means there should be someone who should be adding this, the base. the base URL. The base URL is missing, which means we need to somehow modify our response. So for that, what I will do, I'll go inside my DTO. In the URL, I will create a DTO, and this is going to be a record, and the name will be URL DTO. So this will have an ID, long URL, URL code, and date time which is created at. This is not going to be URL code. This is going to be something called as short URL. Okay, and this is going to be your new response type whenever you are getting things from the service. So in the service, you are going to change this to URL DTO. So this will change to URL DTO, and the moment you change this, now this guy will start to break. So let me go ahead and fix this. So first thing first, we can get where response, which is this. You got your page URL, right? Here you have everything. Now what you can do, you can get the base URL from the configuration. So we can say where base URL, we have something called as configuration, and in that we have this base URL coming from the configuration. Now from the response, I want to extract that. So I can say where URLs, I can say response.data.select, and I can create my new. Basically this is going to be my new, right? So one thing is missing here. We can say e.id, and then this should be okay if I'm not wrong. I don't know why it breaks, but let's take a look. So now we have this new keyword where we have e.id, then we have a long URL, then we have the short URL, and I think there was last, which was the date. So let me go ahead and add that e.created at. Yes, and the moment I add, I think this is complete. So let me just make this bit beautiful. So this .data.select, and in that we have this record what we are using, and we made it to list. That's all, right? So now we got all our URLs, and then the last step, right? You just need to return the new page result of URL DTO, and you need to just send your data as the new URL where you have modified your short URL. Basically now you're not just sending URL code, but you're also added a base URL to it. And now if I save the changes and I restart the application, let's go back and open the Swagger. And if I go and execute this again, so now can you see I have a long URL which is okay, and then we also got a short URL. Now for example, if I grab this particular URL and I can open any new tab and I can paste this, so my expectation is this should open angular.dev, right? Let me go ahead and do for the second one. So if I grab the short URL from here and if I open up in the new tab, so my expectation this should open shashikumar.dev, which it is doing, which means now we have successfully completed the paged response of our URL. Now we also had to do one more thing, right, where we can write some search term, and based on the search term this should basically fetch, correct? So for that I think this is gonna be a more straightforward work. So let's go inside your, so over here we already are getting a search term. So first we need to first check that, hey, that if your string is null or empty, or you can also check for is null or white space, right? So you can check for these two, and then you can modify your query, right? So you can just say your query.where you are checking the long URL.contains, and you're passing the search term. Okay, the thing is, right, people mostly go ahead and just make this too lower, and then they go ahead and check because they don't want to get into that. Like for example, if there is a capital letter and you are using a small letter, then there is a mismatch. So we need to make sure that we are making it too lower and then use it. Or else if you want to directly compare it in by using the EF function, so that also you can do. So I'm going to make use of EF function here. Like there is something called as like, right, dot like. So we are going to use that here. Okay, so again I don't want to get into those because I am trying to modify something directly in the database level, and using a EF function is quite better as compared to other solutions. So if you search for EF, right, so there is already a class where you have this function, and this function consists of something like this, which I wanted. There is something called as dot like. It's the same like operator what you use in SQL, right? So this is able to, so this can be easily translated to the SQL, okay? And it's better as well if you ask me. And for example, if you want to need to add for the URL code, so that also you can add something like this. So you can also check for URL code if you want to do the search query, okay? And once this is done, so your query is already modified if there is any search term present here, okay? And the moment you do this, you just have to save the changes, and let's run this. And now let's go back to your browser and open the Swagger. And the Swagger, if I search for Angular, so let's see what we get. So if I search for Angular and if I execute, so my expectation is there should only be one record in the response. So can you see now I'm only getting one response. If I change this Angular to Shashi, then this guy will go ahead and fetch the shashikumar.dev. Okay, it is not doing it. So let's see why. Let me search for this S as capital and let's see what response we get. Alright, so I got the problem because I think it's still okay. Let's see the code and then we can decide what is the issue. Right, so the problem here, it seems that we are not lowering this text. So what we can do, right, we can just say the search term and we can just make sure that the search term becomes lower. So we are just making this as to lower. So whatever term you get, you just make it lower and then this function will go ahead and call it. Let me restart the application and let's see, because my expectation was I need to do this long URL also to lower, but let's see what response we get now. So if I go and execute, see, I'm not getting it because I have lowered it. So what I need to do, I need to make sure that this is also to lower and this URL code is also dot to lower. Okay, now if I restart the application and this should work. So now if I execute, see, I'm able to get my response. And if I again make this S as small, so this should also give me the same response. Can you see? Which means now we have successfully implemented the pagination and the server side search. So can you see, just by adding this line, the search is already started to work. So that's it from this today's video, where we had implemented this new API endpoint where we can get the paged URL, right, with also the search. And now after looking at this bunch of APIs, so now I can say that we are now ready to start developing our Angular application and integrate all of these APIs with that. And that is what I'm going to do that in the part 3, or I would say the last part of this video, where we will create a new Angular application in version 19.2 and we will start to integrate this API endpoint, even also by creating this beautiful dashboard what you see here. So that's it from this today's video. If you have loved this content and topic, then please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for the next part of this video series. And if you have any doubt and any question related to this topic, then do let me know in the comment section. Or else you can connect with me also on LinkedIn or Telegram. I will be happy to take your questions. So until next time, bye bye and keep learning, guys.